Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I made a video yesterday on an article talking about the German economy, the industry, and in that article, a German official, was crying about the deindustrialization of Germany because it was claimed in that article the German industry will move its operations from Germany to United States of America to take advantage of tax cuts that the businesses have here versus Germany. And the main point was energy, cheaper energy to conduct their operations. So they were very unhappy with that, and I made a point that actually this was not a coincidence, because the higher gas prices in Europe have something to do with some little how should I put it? I don't want to say orders, because they were not really orders at that point, coming from United States, which is, well, you guys gotta make sure, you guys, Europeans, you have to get rid Germany, because Germany has the strongest economy in Europe. You guys gotta get rid of Russian gas and oil and everything else, because they can, they're the bad dudes, and we say that, and do it. So they will do it, but doing it, they will have to buy all those products at a premium price, which will make the German companies inefficient, and they can't compete on the market, because if your cost of production is high, then your product will be expensive, and the other one's cost of production is low, then they can have more room to work with their price for their product. In this case, you can't compete. Therefore, you have to moved to the other country. You have the same cost of production over there, and then you can compete with those companies. That's one argument. Now it seems like not only Germany is the one that's very upset with this situation, but France as well. France, Mr. Macron and Mr. Scholz met, I think, in Paris about 3 weeks ago, and they were crying on each other's shoulders regarding the same issue, that look, the Americans are doing this to us. They have cheap gas and we have expensive gas. Now what Mr. Macron, half, I don't know, socialist, whatever he is, I know he's not, but he is, it seems he cried about this, and he said, well, look, they have cheap gas over there, but they sell their gas here, or energy, at a higher price. Mr. Macron failed to understand that that's how the international arena works. It's not fair. And on the other hand, that's how capitalism also works. You take advantage of other people's situation, as they would take advantage of yours, and nobody makes you do anything, supposedly, unless they slap some sanctions on you, or some little price cap, or embargo straight, and then they would fix and say who's who, what's what. They give advantage to certain companies, and you can't do anything about it if you're weak. Now we have Macron here, very upset, and what does he do? He calls some big business CEOs and talks to them and tries to woo them and say, hey guys, don't get your business to the United States of America, stay here, because I'm going to give you some lollipops or something. I will tell you a little story when I bought a car about a lollipop, speaking with a car salesman. It was funny as hell. But anyway, that's exactly what Macron tries to do, I think. So this article comes from Reuters, November 21st, 2022. Macron hosts European CEOs to counter US move temptation. All right, so French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday will host a dinner with a number of European chiefs of executives of a number of European French President Emmanuel Macron on Monday will host a dinner with a number of European chief executives to convince them not to move production to the United States, where lower energy prices and the Inflation Reduction Act is proving a lure. Macron directly criticized the United States of America's Inflation Reduction Act, stating that that is a protectionist move coming from the United States, which will affect the economies and industries, obviously, in the European Union. Well, the Americans said, so what are we going to do about it? Just follow the script, my boy. Now it seems like feisty Macron, I give him credit for this, has the courage to take on the United States of America, or at least he has to, because if his economy is going to go whack, guess who's going to be voted out of the office? I don't think he can be voted one more time, because I think he got elected 2 times. I don't think that he can go indefinitely. So European leaders have been alarmed by massive anti-inflation measures passed by Joe Biden's administration, which makes tax breaks conditional on US manufactured content, and which EU industries say make investment in Europe less competitive. And I'm quoting, "We are having difficulties with companies which are starting to consider offshoring their production or making future investment outside Europe," a French official said, listing high energy costs and US legislation as reasons. So you were shot in the back, you know that. Since all this Ukraine shit, you've been shot in the back, and they made you shoot yourself in the foot with imposing sanctions and limiting your gas and oil and all that, how should I say, deliveries from Russia. On the other hand, they don't need to do that. So you yourself. At the Elysee Palace, Macron will seek to convince executives from companies including chemical group Solvay and Air Liquide, car makers Volvo and BMW, pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca, and telecom groups Ericsson and Orange to stay in Europe and choose France for their future investments. Macron, who has called on the European Union to launch its own European Buy Act, which is a war against those guys, to subsidize European production, has encountered resistance from the more anti-protectionist members of the bloc. It was unclear what Macron would tell the executives. I'm telling you, I give you a lollipop, stay with us, to convince them not to move to the US. But France has unveiled a number of measures over the weekend to cushion the impact of high energy bills for French companies. European companies have been increasingly strident about the impact of soaring energy prices since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has pushed up gas and electricity prices. No, that's not what it pushed. It pushed your stupid sanctions. That's what it did. So Eric Trapper, CEO of Dassault Aviation, who heads the French Federation of Metals Industries, warned in the L'Echo newspaper over the weekend that Europe should protect its own industry more aggressively or see it move to our other shores. Well, what are you going to promise them? You have to implement some protectionist policies, and without that, they will go over there. That's how business does. The thing is, these guys here do a little socialist issue with protection and getting involved in the industry because it's so in the economy, because it's so easy to say that you're too big to fail, therefore we're going to make sure that we're going to give you some little perks here and there so you can survive instead of just going busted. But you say, hey, Emil, if they go busted, you're going to be affected. I will be affected, but don't you think there will be other companies that are more effective that are going to take over? That company who's going to fail in the economic environment has to fail. It's like it's like a person that's with a terminal illness. One day you just do all kind of treatment, but that person eventually is going to succumb to the illness, unfortunately, because it's something that doesn't run okay in that person's body. The same here. These companies are running with a deficit or are having certain kind of policies that are not compatible with the realities on the market. Now I know it's a lot of regulation and bullshit coming from governments, which makes the so-called market being controlled more or less, and I understand that one. But there are some other ones that will always take the spot of the ones that will gonna go busted. The problem is who's gonna allow those things to go busted, because there's too much interest behind all those, all money invested, shares, and so on. So that's how it is when you start controlling the market too much. You say, well, too much. Yeah, because little by little, let's control this, let's control this. You do something right here to, I don't know, fix something, but that has consequences here. And then you rush again here. And then from here you create these problems and you rush there. So therefore you're going to have such a controlled environment and a free market that things will happen without you knowing what the hell caused that thing. And that's why you have these economists missing the target like crazy, telling you, hey, it's going to be this, it's going to happen that. And they say, no, I was wrong. How in the hell? You had up or down and you got 50%. You had odds, right? Chances. It's because they can't figure out all the impacts of all these regulations wherever they're going to break here and there. Now let me tell you my little story with a salesman. So I went to buy a new car a while ago, new. And I'm not gonna get into it. Why did you go buy a new car? Because I can. So anyway, because the moment you get buy the car, a new car, you got it off the parking lot, you lost I don't know, 20% of its value. I understand that, but nevertheless, I'm gonna tell you the story. So I went to buy a new car. I went over there, spoke with this person. Pop. They're not smarter than us. They're just used to doing what they're doing. So it's like the chess players. The first 30 movements, moves on the chessboard. The great masters are just automatic, pack, and then from time to time they have to think, oh, what's going on here? I've never seen this before, because they've seen those things before, those steps. The same with the salesperson. They're being used, so they speak fast, and they give you dreams, and you don't have to think. You don't have to think. You have time. You think you don't have time to think. Therefore, you're going to be, I have to answer. No. Sit down, think about 10 minutes about his fucking question, and you're going to find out that's a weasel question and say no. Nice try, though. So anyway, something like this happened. I'm not going to go into details. And he said, well, you're a hard a negotiator. I said, no, I think you're just, a weasel trying to do your job, and your job meaning that you're going to sell me something overpriced, and if I don't catch you, I'm going to be a idiot. And I caught you here. I know we always lose. When you go and buy a car, you always lose. But the thing, you try to minimize the loss. So in this case, he said that he's going to, just to sell me the car, he would give me the car, if I agreed to buy the car, a full tank of gas. So that's what was his perk. And I said, at that time, I know, the gas was $1 a gallon or something. That was a while ago. And I said, well, that's about $15. It's 15 gallons tank. That's about $15. So you give me $15 so I can decide to agree with your stupid deal. I mean, I give you $15, but you take that off. Oh, you're hard to negotiate. No, you just think that I'm a retard. And for good reason, because when we walk in, you know the in and outs. We have to figure them out as we go. So the same with this Macron. What did he offer these guys, the CEOs? Lollipops? A full tank of gas? $15? Yeah, what can you offer them? Concrete. So yeah, the same here. I don't know how much power Macron will have to, again, impose regulations and protect certain kind of businesses, but don't protect other businesses, which is very, very capitalistic form of free market. Not. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.